everybody, I'm Danrvdtree2000, also known as Dan2x10 on Xbox Live. Welcome back to another episode of, another predictions episode, and this time it's WWE Hell in a Cell. Damn it. But I am awfully confused, as there's only a short amount of matches that's going to happen at Hell in a Cell. No doubt there'll be a couple of more added in Hell in a Cell pay-per-view itself, but from the ones that I'm going to predict, that's the only ones that I'm going to see here. So I'm very confused, but before we get into the Hell in a Cell predictions, I'd just like to say I have seen the premieres episodes of Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown this past week, and it was awesome. I absolutely enjoyed it. I hope that Raw and SmackDown stay like this for quite some time, for the next 5 years, 10 years, I don't know, but I hope it stays like this for quite some time. Raw versus SmackDown. The draft is coming soon. I cannot wait. But that is going to be later on. But we're going to talk about the now. We're going to talk about this Sunday at Hell in a Cell. There are 2 Hell in a Cell matches. Whether it's because there's going to be 2 Hell in a Cell matches, it's going to be a longer pay-per-view, meaning that we're going to have shorter match. We're going to have the shorter match card. That's why there's only about 4 matches on this night. So let's start things off with this first SmackDown match, the SmackDown Women's Championship. As the champion Bayley defends her SmackDown Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair, and this is the rematch from Clash of Champions, where Bayley cheated to win by smashing Charlotte Flair's head into the exposed turnbuckle and then pinning her at 1, 2, 3 and escaping with the title and running away. So, if for you guys that have not seen my predictions before, the way I do things is, who do I want to win and who I think is going to win. Who I want to win is my own personal opinion, and who I think is going to win is basically who WWE have booked to win. So let's start with who I want to win. Who do I want to win? Charlotte Flair. Who do I think is going to win? Bayley. This is an even, isn't like an even type of situation to me. It could go either way, but as much as I want to see Charlotte Flair win her 10th Women's Championship, I don't think that Bayley's gonna have the SmackDown Women's Championship taken away from her anytime soon. And I'm going to talk about a title that was taken away from somebody recently, which shocked me, and I'll get to that soon, which is probably why there isn't a certain championship match at Hell in a Cell now, because, we all know what happened on SmackDown. I'll get to that a little bit later. So yeah, this I think, once again, I think Bayley will somehow, some way cheat to retain her title, I should say, at Hell in a Cell. And we're not ready for a new champion just yet. But with that being said, we're going to go on to the next match, as, we'll just have to see, won't we? Well, now here's a sight I never thought I'll see, and it has been one for the ages. Since it's been a very long time since we saw Luke Harper in a WWE ring, let alone a match. And at Clash as Champions, we saw the return of Luke Harper. When we had this no disqualifications match between Roman Reigns and Eric Rowan, because Eric Rowan was the one that was trying to kill Roman Reigns, basically, and split up with Daniel Bryan because Daniel Bryan doesn't like liars, and therefore he's a baby face again, kind of. I'm not 100% sure. He's just not the yes Daniel Bryan. He's still the new Daniel Bryan, and he's the babyface Daniel Bryan, but he's not the babyface Daniel Bryan like he used to be. He's just a much better Daniel Bryan now. So therefore, because he split up with Daniel Bryan, Daniel Bryan now is helping out Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns has apologized to Daniel Bryan to say, hey, I need, because of what Luke Harper and Eric Rowan has done to Roman Reigns over the last couple of weeks, Daniel Bryan's out there to help Roman Reigns. So therefore, we got a tag team match, player. And that's going to happen here at Hell in a Cell. And all hell's going to break loose. As we got Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns versus the Bludgeon Brothers. Luke Harper and Eric Rowan have been a team over the last few years, as part of the Wyatt family. That didn't work. Then they were just Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. That didn't work. But then they changed their names to Rowan and Harper as the enabler of the Bludgeon Brothers. That kind of worked. It's just between them two, they both got injured very quickly. But now it seems to be working as just big, brooding dudes that also are very maniacal. And Eric Rowan seems to think that he is the most intellectual out of the two, of Daniel Bryan and himself. And he knew that Daniel Bryan would never be as smart as him to come up with such a plan. And who else to help Eric Rowan but Luke Harper? He's the only person truly can understand the smartness of Eric Rowan. So this is why we got this tag team match up here. So who do I think is going to win? I think it will be the Bludgeon Brothers. Who do I want to win? Team Roman and Reigns and Bryan. Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. I want them to win, but I think if the WWE was smart, they'll have Eric Rowan and Luke Harper win this one, just because they will show their dominance. Maybe get Eric Rowan that big push that he deserves, with Luke Harper just there to help him out. And maybe even later on, maybe have Luke Harper betray Eric Rowan later on down the road. But for now, have Luke Harper come back, have him be the muscle this time. Because it's always been Luke Harper was the one and Eric Rowan was the muscle. Let's have it the opposite way around. So I think this storyline's going to work really well if Eric Rowan and Luke Harper win this one. So that's why I think it'll be them. As much as I want Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan to win, it's going to be Luke Harper and Eric Rowan that's going to win this one. And then the name changes. He's going backwards and forwards, and God knows what we're going to be calling next. So, will they return as the Bludgeon Brothers again, or will they have a brand new team then, if this stays as a team? We'll have to find out, but come Hell in a Cell, though. And for that being said, I'll go to the next match and predict what's going to happen there. And the next match is the Raw Women's Championship match. It's going to end as Becky Lynch will defend her Raw Women's Championship against Sasha Banks. And Sasha Banks is going to be in this matchup for the second time, as it's not just any old matchup, as it matches the name of the pay-per-view, as this will be the first of two Hell in a Cell matches. And I cannot wait for this one. Will it be a brutal beatdown taken to Sasha Banks and from Sasha Banks as weapons? Many the holds, like you got the disarm her. This is the bank statement. You got the leg drop versus bankrupt that little net breaker. You got the Meteor. You got versus those swift kicks that she does. You got so many moves in the arse coming from both sides. It's going to be hard to pick a winner here. But if I have to go to who I want, strangely enough, after the fact that she's just come back, she couldn't get the job done at Clash of Champions. That went for no contest, or DQ finish. This time, because there's no disqualifications, I think Sasha Banks could do it. As much as I want Becky Lynch to retain, I think because of the draft that's coming up, I somehow think that Becky Lynch is going to end up going to SmackDown and Sasha Banks is going to go to Raw. So it's going to be one of those situations. So I reckon Bayley will be SmackDown Women's Champion of her division, and Sasha will be right there with her. Even though they'll be on separate brands, they'll still be best of friends saying, hey, we're the champions of both brands. Yes, I think Becky will have a chance of beating her and making her tap out to the disarmer, maybe through like a chair or something, some type of, there will be, that Hell in the Cell will be used as a weapon in both of these matches, including this very first one. This is the second Hell in the Cell match that contains women in this matchup, and Sasha Banks again was in the first one, and she faced Charlotte Flair. And it was for the Raw. I think it was for the Women's Championship, if I remember correctly. Charlotte and Sasha has not had any luck inside the Hell in a Cell. Although the first Women's Hell in a Cell match wasn't pretty. A lot of botches and tables not breaking. It wasn't, but at the end of the day, it's not meant to be pretty. It's meant to be barbaric, and so this matchup should be very interesting, to say the least. Whether it'll be the first, because there's 2 Hell in a Cell matches with it. I think this Hell in a Cell match will be first, then the later on where Becky Lynch's husband Seth Rollins, or fiance Seth Rollins, is going to be in that matchup. They only just got together and now they're already engaged, so that's a bit weird, but that both Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are in Hell in a Cell matches. They're going to try and outdo each other, and I'll get to the Seth Rollins Hell in a Cell match in just a moment, but I think I've got one more match to predict after this one. So yeah, as I said, I think it'll be Sasha, but I want Becky to win this matchup, but go a lot of earth in, I can't help that, but let's go to the next match. And now the WWE Universal Champion Becky Lynch's fiance, husband or whatever, Seth freaking Rollins, the Beast Slayer, the Universal Champion, will be stepping inside that Hell in a Cell. It's not his first time he's been in the Hell in a Cell match, as he has faced, I believe, Dean Ambrose inside the Hell in a Cell once before, but we won't talk about that guy. He's no, so I may put a little bleep over that sound just for a bit of fun. So anyway, to believe, in fact, if you remember correctly, it was the guy that was that's ironically that in that Hell in a Cell match, it was this guy, Bray Wyatt, that attacked, Dean Ambrose inside that Hell in a Cell, setting up their feud. So it's come full circle in a sense, the fact that he helped Seth Rollins win a Hell in a Cell match. But now that's probably what he keeps talking about, the fact that history will repeat itself. Maybe Seth Rollins has forgotten about that. The fact that Bray Wyatt did actually help Seth at one point. At one point, he does go on saying that he was my friend Rollins because he helped him win a championship by defeating Dean Ambrose. Well, so here we are. The Fiend. The Fiend remembers. The Fiend, that guy remembers what happened. So that may be the whole story behind it. So here we go. Here's my predictions. Who do I think is going to win? Now, I love The Fiend, and I want The Fiend to be something big. However, if they want Seth Rollins to work, I think that Seth Rollins will have to win here and overcome The Fiend, but at the same time, The Fiend can still beat his badass that scares the living shit out of everybody, including Seth himself, into a case that he can take like fucking 5 curb stomps or whatever, and even a pedigree here and there, and to still beat him. But even after the match is over, he can get up and attack Seth after the match by giving him the mandible claw and say, look, you tried to beat me, but you couldn't because I'm still standing. Like, as much as I'd love to see Bray Wyatt as the Universal Champion, I think it'll be too soon. Because they just brought him into the WWE, this Fiend character. If they give him the championship, I think it'll be too much. In my opinion, it'd be too much. I think they can still keep Bray Wyatt as that mean, scary guy. So for him to beat Finn Balor in seconds at SummerSlam, and then he's in another pay-per-view matchup and lose to Seth Rollins, it wouldn't hurt him. Because in the sense he can still be the Thing. They can still, that could make his blood in the whole Fiend character, to the fact that he lost to Seth Rollins, make it better. Because he can still have this feud with Seth Rollins again, and the fact that he is saying, he could say creepy messages about him, saying that the Fiend is still alive, he's still here, he's still standing. And you was at the end of the night, even though that the Fiend lost, you at the end of the night were the man that was laying on your back, on your back. So they could do something like that. They probably won't. So at this point, as much as I want the Fiend to become WWE Universal Champion, Seth Rollins is gonna win. Just because, in my opinion, it would make more sense for Seth to win. Because I don't want him to be. I don't want Bray Wyatt to be champion too soon. Because otherwise, what can they do with the Fiend as the champion? Because they kind of failed with Bray Wyatt as the champion to begin with. So they could have him win the championship, but what are they gonna do after that? He's won the championship. He's Mr. Scary Guy. He's on the top of the mountain on Raw. What's he gonna do? Just keep going through all these challenges with the mandible claw, because he has to lose the championship sometime. So yeah. For my opinion on this matchup, my predictions is basically, like I said, I think it'll be Seth, but I want the Fiend. Just for those reasons only. Now let's just talk about another main championship, which I didn't think would come. I knew it would come to an end eventually, but not in 9 fucking seconds. I kind of loved it and hated the fact that I knew there was going to be some type of thing to do with Rey Mysterio, but I didn't know it was to do with that. I don't know if it's Mexican. I think it's a Mexican UFC fighter that defeated Brock Lesnar on UFC. They're gonna put him against the WWE champion Brock Lesnar eventually, maybe at Hell in a Cell. But if that does happen, and we have this new UFC guy coming into it and winning the championship, that it would be the most pointless thing in the world. So if they make that a match for Hell in a Cell, I've forgotten his name, Guerrero or something, I can't remember his name, versus Brock Lesnar, that new guy that Rey Mysterio brought into WWE to take on Brock Lesnar. The fact that I'm okay with Brock Lesnar beating Kofi Kingston in 9 seconds, because it kind of makes sense. Because think about it, yeah, he had Samoa Joe and Randy Orton and all that, but at least he was face to face when they stood next to each other, and he had a bit of a fighting chance. Brock Lesnar's the size of a freaking tree or something, and it's like getting hit with a bus, you know. So he's a former UFC heavyweight champion, and it makes sense. The F5 is an untouchable move. Only certain superstars are allowed to kick out of the F5, such as The Undertaker, such as, people like John Cena, Triple H, big character guys. I'm pretty sure Brock Lesnar was like, no, I ain't having someone weak and just like Kofi Kingston kick out of the F5. I ain't letting him touch me. If we're going to do this feud, I'm going to win quickly. So, in a sense, that's a lot of fans will be pissed, and there's going to be a lot of internet people going, oh, he shouldn't have won the championship in 9 seconds. But to me, winning the championship in 9 seconds is Brock Lesnar against someone there like Kofi Kingston makes a bit of sense. I hated it, and I'm going on about it now, but now I've reviewed it back, I love it. But that was on SmackDown, Fox, and the Raw, the fact, I'm using up a little bit of time on predictions to talk about Raw and SmackDown, because this is it. This is all the matches there is. You got the tag team match, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns versus the Bludgeon Brothers. You got the Raw women's champion Becky Lynch defending her title against Sasha Banks inside the Hell in a Cell. You got SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley taking on Charlotte, and you got this match, Seth Rollins versus the Fiend, Hell in a Cell match for the Universal Championship. Whether there'll be some more matches on the kickoff show, which I hope there is, like maybe a Cruiserweight Championship match, or maybe an NXT title, anything. Yeah, some type of silly feud. Maybe the Raw Tag Team titles can go on the line on their kickoff show. Maybe that'll happen. And maybe we'll get that Brock Lesnar versus UFC fighter, which I cannot remember his name, so I'm going to call him UFC fighter. Let me know in the comments what his name is. I can't remember his name. I'm going to be honest, it was so shocking to me what happened. 9 seconds thing happening, it was over. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to win a Hell in a Cell. Danrvdtree2000, also known as Dan2010 on Xbox Live. And hopefully there's more matches than just these 4. If not, it's going to be a very short pay-per-view. And what did you think of Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown? Did it live up to the expectations? Because it sure did to me. Both and the new premieres did start off and end with a bang, literally, because the pyro is back, and God, that is brilliant. But I will be back, and I will review and react to Hell in a Cell. And until Hell in a Cell comes along, I'm Danrvdtree2000, also known as Dan2x10 on Xbox Live, saying bye-bye. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to watch the previous video, click on the video on the left. But if you want to watch the playlist, then click on the video on the right. Also, feel free to click subscribe by clicking on the Master Chief icon on the top.